Hello and welcome back to On the Workbench. Today we're taking a look at this generic brown box Kobalt tool. What is this? This is the brand new for 2023 24 volt one-handed battery powered pressure washer, power washer, cleaner. Now this is the generic brown box because this is the tool only version. I would suspect, but I can't confirm, that the one that comes with the battery and the charger, that's a little more expensive, might come in slightly more decorative packaging. So in this one here, we get a brown box with just pictures of the tool. Nothing fancy at all. So let's go ahead and open the tab and open it up. So inside the box, nicely packed here, we've got a soap bottle. So it's got a nozzle end on it. They'll be able to attach that. We've got a multi-spray tip and a hose quick connect. So if you don't already have the gardenia system or something for a mower washout, you get one of those hose adapters. We get a bag to hold our accessories. This is a nice mesh bag. Look at how large that is. So any moisture in it can drain out. You're not collecting moisture in the bottom of the bag. That's a nice bag. I always wonder if that's larger than what we need, but we'll find out. We'll keep going. Now we've got a nice beefy, and this is actually appears longer than I expected, intake hose with a nice little suction filter here. So you could put this into a bucket or maybe dip it into the lake if you're out on a boat somewhere and use this to be able to squirt water with the tool. Looking in here further, we've got our manual. We've got a wand. Got a nice quick release at the end. And then this has what appears to be a quick release at the other end, rubber gasket. Set that aside. And then finally, we have the tool, if you will. So the very first thing I notice about this is this has that new 2023 or late 2022 next gen grip with the little mini hexagons, nice and soft. And so what we got a place here we can hook up our garden hose or our intake hose. On the back here, we've got a spot where our battery goes. Nice little switch there to protect the water and hopefully, or to protect the battery, keep water out. Looking at this, I'm kind of surprised there's not a gasket around there to help seal that up, but maybe that's something to do with keeping heat contained for the battery. I don't know. I suppose there's an interesting engineering question there of how do you protect the cells, because heat is one of the best ways to damage a battery. And then interesting here, the date code is right here as opposed to being on the other side of the tool. Nice Kobalt logos on either side. Rubber overmolding here. Nice overmold here for your forearm. And so the first question we're going to ask, before we assemble this any further, this battery compartment, will the larger XTR batteries fit? Or more succinctly, let's just cut right to the chase. Can we use this with the Mega 8 amp hour battery? Let's see if that fits. And indeed, that actually fits just fine. So it looks like it'll fit every single Kobalt battery. If it can fit the 8 amp hour ultimate output battery, it'll fit everything else in the lineup. Now, one of the things with this tool here, because there's a pump in it, I'm very reluctant to want to run this dry without any water coming in here. And so the reason why I picked this up is I thought this would be a really quick and easy alternative to my gas-powered pressure washer that for certain times, just cleaning kids' toys or simple cleaning, I don't want to go to the hassle of gas and oil, and I just want to get something really quick I can plug onto the end of the hose. And so with this, I just plug the hose in here like I would any other hose attachment, slap a battery in, and then go to town. So then at the other end here, we can see there is a keyed slot at the business end. And on the end of this wand, there's a little bit of a keying. You can see there's two little lines that you got to line up. And that actually drops in like that, keyless or toolless. Press the button to remove it, locks in, and then now you've got your nozzle connection at the other end, like this. So if you don't already have it, I already mentioned this earlier, here is a hose end adapter that you can use for your garden hose to be able to clip it on like that. And then the other tool that was in that, or the other item in that bag, is this multi spray tip here. You can see it's got different fan patterns, as well as just a generic, we'll call it a soap pattern here. That's low pressure and high pressure. You can see the little angles here. So we've got 0, which is going to be our highest pressure, 15, 25, 40, and then we'll just call it water wand or soap or rinse. And this should just clip right into our nozzle here. Let me retract the collar here. And that does clip right in there. Then we just have to turn the end to our desired setting. And we should be good to go. Or alternatively, now if instead of using the water, we want to use soap, we'll just go ahead and remove our extension wand. And then our soap tank actually installs right up close to the tool like this and clicks into place like that. Now I'm kind of surprised this isn't set where this would go at the end of the wand, but maybe it has something to do with making sure that the pressure is low enough and you don't get the flow constriction. I don't actually know, but either way, nice wide pattern here for foam and soap. Go ahead and remove that and go back to our wand. Click it into place. And at this point, we should be good to go. Now, before we go too far, I want to check this tip here a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and remove this tip. And then what I've got here is a Briggs & Stratton turbo nozzle. You can see it's got what I would generally call the universal pressure washer attachment fitting. And we'll go ahead and see if this will click into place. And indeed, it does click into place. So that's actually rather nice. Let's look at these fittings here side by side. You can see that they're similar. Would be nice if this actually had an aluminum or metal fitting rather than it being plastic. Maybe that's something to look at considering as an update, depending upon how much you use this tool, but this definitely does keep it lightweight. But I will caution you, if you do drop this, this might be the first point of damage. So this end here is actually nice because this gives you a blue adapter for clicking onto the tool. Now I'm kind of surprised what they gave you for the hose end wasn't actually a matching blue. I thought just for consistency, you'd want to give blue everywhere just to give that blue touch, but so be it. This would install just like this, and then you'd suck up your water through this intake there. All right, we're outside now, and I've got my kids' water table. This is a toy they like to play with, at least my youngest one likes to play with. I think my older one's getting a little too old for this, but that doesn't matter for this discussion here. It needs to get cleaned up after the winter. And so I've got the new pressure washer. And I'm gonna go ahead and put in that 8 amp hour ultimate output battery. Why? Because I can. We'll go ahead and buckle that up there. Now I need a water source. So I'm gonna get the hose, I'm gonna clip the hose in, and we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna start out with the water in the generic spray pattern. Now, it goes without saying, if you're using anything that's a pressure washer, always wear safety glasses because high pressure water can cut almost anything, and including your eyeballs, and you definitely don't want to do that. So in my case, I've got a compatible adapter here. This is the Gardenia water stop system. I'll put a link or a card for more about these. I really love these. This is kind of the original version of what's now become generic, if you will, as shipped with the Kobalt tool, but this is aluminum and heavy duty. All right, so now you can see I got the hose clipped on there with the Gardenia system. And now we're gonna give this its first shot. I've got this in the spray mode or the shower mode, water wand, whatever you wanna call it. We'll now clip it or press the trigger and see what happens. There's this little safety mechanism here, trip that. Okay, so that's no better than a basic garden hose. So there's no real reason to use it other than to clear soap off with this without having to take this off. So let's make this go to 40 degrees, the next highest pressure setting. You can see there's a fan. We'll bring this a little bit closer so you can see that better. Okay, that doesn't work too bad. Now let's turn the pressure up and go to 25 degrees. So this is our next highest pressure setting. Still a fan. Not too bad for this. Let's turn this up to 15. So that actually does pretty well. Now let's go all the way to 0. This should be the maximum pressure. You can see that little straight line tip there. So I think for cleaning this, that 0 seems to be maybe not the best balance. I'll go down to 25. 25 seemed about the right angle for cleaning off this toy. So something else right quick here with this 0-degree nozzle. In case you're wondering about its ability to clean concrete, it's probably not going to be the best, but still you can see a couple of spots that had gotten eaten away. Some dirt got cleaned off, so let me just try this again in the 0-degree mode. So you can see there, it will clean the concrete a little bit. Not the most efficient way to do it. So now after a little bit of scribbling on the driveway with this and cleaning the water table for the kids, let's check on the battery. Let's go ahead and pull this out, turn it around, show it to the camera, and we're at 2 bars on this 8 amp hour battery that was fully charged when we started. So it's definitely, you know, it's not going to last you all day. This is going to be a higher demand tool that's going to need a substantial battery to go with it. So maybe it's good for just washing and rinsing your car. I'm not sure how much mud it's going to get off, but we're going to give this another test here in just a second. All right, so now I've got the suction hose. After you undo the plastic, the first thing I notice is that it's got this really nice Velcro tie. That's a really, really nice addition for keeping things nice and tidy. I like things nice and tidy and organized. And then now we're going to do some cleaning with this. I'm going to take the filter in and drop it into the bucket because I don't have a lake nearby. And this is also a great simulation that if you need to clean something high, you need to get somewhere that you otherwise don't have a hose or your hose doesn't reach, if you can take a bucket, let's see how it does. So that sinks all the way down. Now we're going to take our tool where we had the hose before. Just going to clip this right into place right there. That blue fitting looks great next to the blue tool. And now we need something to clean. I've got just the culprit right here. All right, so here's the perfect candidate for cleaning. We've got this nasty Little Tikes cozy coop that's just disgusting with dirt and mud and grime. My kids have covered this in pretty much everything short of burying it in the mud. And it probably needs to be trashed or straight up to the curb with a giant free sign on it, but we're going to try to clean it up today with this and the bucket of water. Because if you're off-roading, you might not have a chance to get access to a bucket of water or a hose, but you might want to clean your truck or something else off. So this will be our surrogate today, because I know if I damage this or do something wrong, it's not going to hurt anything. So now to get started, I've got this in fan mode. It'll probably take a second or two to get the water through the hose and up here to the tool. So I don't know how long that's going to take, but we'll go ahead and give it a shot. Let's start the tool up. Oh, that was quick. We got at least something. Let's go the other end to start this. Let's go to 0. because in 0 should have maximum resistance and hopefully maximum suction. So let's give that a shot. All right, that worked. Let's go to 25. Well, 25 does work with the bucket. Let's go to 15, but it's not cut in the mud. And now cleaning that cozy coop after the bucket was about 3/4 full is down to maybe 1/8 of a bucket. So yeah, see, it's relatively decent on the water consumption. Obviously your spray pattern is going to dictate that. But so far I'm impressed with what this tool can do and what our simulations here have shown. I know it's not a real car, but hopefully you get the idea, because I didn't want to risk damaging anything with a 0 tip, because if it can obviously clean concrete, I'm a little concerned about it damaging your paint, so you've got to be careful and choose your spray patterns correctly and your distance away to ensure that you do not damage the surface of what you are cleaning. And indeed, this does work. Now let's give this one more shot, since it didn't work initially with just the basic spray, like this with the bucket. All right, so it seems that the spray with the bucket is maybe a bit intermittent. It works sometimes, not all the time, but definitely works much better with the angled fan tip. I wasn't sure if that was going to be a cone. Turns out they're fans. That's fine. I can work with it just like a regular pressure washer nozzle is usually a fan. Now let's test out the soap function. I'm going to use some of this Meguiar's car wash. And then on the soap attachment here, I can just give that a 1/4 turn. See, there's a little straw that comes out there. On the side of the bottle, there is some markers there for the volumetric in milliliters on one side, and the other side is in milliliters as well. So it's metric on both sides. I thought one side might be ounces, but apparently not. Add a little bit of soap. That should be plenty for a little experiment today. And we're going to go ahead and stick this right in here, like this. All right, so now I've got this hooked up to the hose instead of the bucket, and we're using some soap on this roof here to see if we can get this finally cleaned up here. Nice application of soap. We'll let that sit, and then we will switch out our attachment. Now to do that, I'm going to go ahead and depress this, pull that off. Now one of the things I will point out here is there's the detergent in there, but this did not fill with water. So this is just sucking it up as it goes, probably using the Venturi effect. Uh-oh, missed the spot. This will be perfect test for the soap. Return to the normal wand. Now we've already had issues. Well, since we're on the hose, I can leave this in the generic water wand pattern. But if I was on a bucket, I'd be a little concerned with that. But we'll use this and rinse off the soap. Or let's actually turn up the pressure here a little bit. Let's go to 15 degrees Celsius and see if we can bust through this remaining dirt. All right, so there you go. We've now ran through all the nozzles, including the soap, cleaning up this cozy coop here. let's disconnect the hose. We've tested the bucket or lake attachment. We started with a fully charged 8 amp hour ultimate output battery, and we are now down to 1 bar charge. So I think we've gotten a fair bit of work out on this here. Battery's still nice and cool. Top of the tool here, just only a little bit warm. I've felt drills that are much, much warmer than this. And so this is pretty good. The fact that you get some water around here, hopefully will keep it cool down. Just don't let too much water get in these vents here to keep the tool cool. Otherwise you'll get some corrosion, other water damage back here. It'd be nice if they had some way with some vents or mesh to keep the moisture out of here, but maybe you also want that the fan in here to be able to kick the air out to keep it dry. I don't know. So then with this, all that's left to do is put the tool away. So after you've got the tool out, one thing that's worth doing is paying careful attention to the bag that the manual comes in, because there's a little bitty tool that looks like this. It's kind of like a key ring, but it's got a little thin piece of wire looped up here. In fact, you might want to put it on a key ring. Would have been nice if it came with a carabiner, maybe a Kobalt logo keychain or something, so you don't misplace this, because this has a very specific purpose, and that's for cleaning out any nozzles. So because you've got that adapter that you can put into a bucket of water, I suppose even a lake, you might get gunk in the tool. So one of the places that gunk is apt to accumulate would be in your nozzle. So what you can do here is you can take whichever end that matches up with the port on the rear, and then just stick this tool right through the hole like that. So it comes out, so any gunk comes out the bottom, out the hole, and then rotate like that. It does work in all of them except for the shower head one. Now, something else to pay attention to. The other end here is that suction end. The grate on this is fairly fine. This does not fit this, but what you can do is when you get home, you can plug this into a hose, then flush water through it in reverse. Now make sure you don't turn the pressure up too high, but I should push in, because normally this is sucking stuff in through from the outside. But if you get attached to your hose, because it is basically just a hose end attachment, you can push that back out the other way to clean your intake nozzle. So with the hose in the bag, next thing to do, remove the attachment. I'm going to place this upside down in the bag so that water can drain unobstructed out of the input end. And then now is a good time to run the tool for just a couple seconds to run out any extra water before you take the battery out. I already took the battery out here, and this is nice. I'm going to run this again probably later today or tomorrow, so I'm not terribly worried about that. Put it in the bag. And what's great is this mesh bag that it came with actually fits everything just nice like that. It's a nice fit, properly sized for all the attachments that came with this. So if you got any questions or comments, put it down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you like this kind of video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button. That should be right about down there, I think. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day. Bye.